Okay, that is a problem. My camera is not working. Alright, we have a problem now. My camera suddenly just not showing that I'm standing right in front. Is it this one? Why do we always gotta have... Hey, that screen is just black. Okay. Okay, this is... Okay. Is it this one? Filters. Okay, do I need to flip these? We have a huge problem, ladies and gentlemen. We video capture device. This is really bad. Oh my god, let me flip this. And it's really hot in here. And I'm literally in the middle of a stream. Okay. Chromo key. Okay. Green. Close. The camera's literally just not even working. So, y'all are just gonna have to listen to what I'm saying, and we're gonna have to get right into this. I'll move this right on over. Things just don't work. So also, feel free to join our Discord server where you can talk directly to the Hurricane Watch team, and you get to talk directly with us, ask us questions. You get to talk right with us. You get to be with. We could be right there. There's other members there that will be there to help you along. But I'm going to get right into this and go and talk about Hurricane Rick right here. Currently with maximum sustained winds. Last were at 85 miles an hour. That may have well changed to up to 90. No. Rick expected to approach the coast of Mexico on Sunday. Expected to become a major hurricane. It remains winds of about 85 miles an hour. Do a refresh. But again, winds remain at around 85 miles per hour. It has not strengthened any. It remains with an air pressure of about 978 millibars. Again, it is expected to intensify and reach about 115 miles per hour. In case you're wondering, here is the latest forecast track as of 7 p.m. Again, it is expected to become a major hurricane, but then we can back down to a Category 2 hurricane. Hurricane watches, hurricane warnings and tropical storm warnings are in effect for this region. Heavy rain, tropical storm force winds are expected. It has slowed down a lot. Hopefully it speeds up because we do not like hurricanes to not be moving very quickly because it makes it very, very difficult, for, minimal damages. And there's often a lot more damages that occur when there's a slow-moving storm. Hurricane Harvey is a good example of that. It was a slow-moving hurricane. When it made landfall, it produced a lot of storm surge, but most importantly, the heavy rain is what caused a lot of the damages. So that's the current latest satellite imagery. So again, 75 knots, about 85 miles per hour. Again, it's not a super duper powerful or strong hurricane, but it will bring quite the impacts to the Mexican coastline for sure. Again, it is practically nighttime, so this is the last bit of satellite imagery that you have here. You can see a lot of consolidation, a lot of convection continuing to occur there in that part of the hurricane. So near the center, near what we would call the eye wall, a huge amount of convection is occurring in this region right here. You can really see a lot of the convection occurring around that center circulation. The winds are pretty high, about 85 miles per hour. So there's going to be hurricane conditions along the coast of Mexico. Flooding is going to occur for sure. So really just kind of want to point this region out right here. Lots of convection right there. I assume the center circulation's right there. And again, it's going to move. It's going to kind of move in this general direction like so. Or forecast cone, right? And then the conditions will be tropical storm force, tropical storm conditions, and hurricane conditions in this part of Mexico. Hello, how's everybody doing? Oops, I need to scroll up. And so I just kind of want to point out that there will be hurricane conditions and tropical storm conditions throughout this portion of the Mexican coastline. You're already seeing these bands coming in like this. You're getting this onshore flow, so there's these continuous bands that move inland and actually move in this direction with the direction of the storm. And so what that does is it produces a lot of flooding. You can kind of see the convection right in this feeder band right here. You can kind of see it expanding, going through convection. It's kind of moving in a general direction like this with the rotation of the storm. And so it's kind of going around the storm like so. And, as it goes inland, it's going to produce a lot of heavy rain. And these feeder bands continue to come in. And it especially really gets bad once the storm makes landfall. So let's say the storm makes landfall. We'll just say storm makes landfall right here. Why is it an L? I'm just going to say that. There's still going to be onshore flow farther south. It doesn't affect this small area. There'll still be onshore flow. There'll be storm surge from, really all along the coastline. There could be storm surge all along this portion of the coastline. And there'll be flooding east and west of the center circulation. And there'll be flooding inland all throughout Mexico, which I'm going to get to my next point, is there'll be flooding throughout the entire, not the entire country of Mexico. I almost said the state is why I said that. There's going to be a lot of flooding in Mexico, first of all. I want to make that clear. So I kind of want to go and show y'all what the models are showing. We're going to take a look at Rick here. We're going to go through all the models, starting with the HWRF model, and kind of showing you the heavy rain. So this is incredible. Look at how high this is up on the scale with the wind, the rain, and some of these bands. Look at this. This is a feeder band going in this general direction according to this one model, and look at where it's at on the scale. All right, so it is way up there. There's a lot of heavy rain in this storm, which is going to lead to flash flooding and mudslides because there are also a lot of mountains. It's a very mountainous region. Good thing is it is going to weaken, but still, look at this. You have this onshore flow. You got bands coming in this direction too. This is sort of like a moat. This is like a moat where there's just an area of calmness. There's not a lot of heavy rain. There's not a lot of wind. It's sort of like a moat where dry air kind of actually tries to come in to the storm and actually tries to dry it out. And so there's a dry area. We often get that in hurricanes sometimes. So that's one thing I wanted to point it out is there could also be tornadoes in the outer bands. We saw that with Hurricane Harvey. We see that with most hurricanes. Hurricane Katrina, there were tornadoes. Even Tropical Storm Cristobal, there were a few severe thunderstorms that popped up and produced some, I don't know if they were tornadoes, but they produced strong wind gusts. And they actually produced some severe thunderstorms that were capable of producing tornadoes. I don't know if they actually did. I think one tornado did get produced out of that. But still, even weak, low-wind tropical storms can produce tornadoes. And so even when you have these hurricanes, a tornado is definitely, tornadoes are definitely possible in these outer rain bands. So I want you to keep an eye out. If you live east, this is the wet side. Notice, okay, if I split this sort of like this, right down the middle, notice there's all this rain over here and all this rain over here. I mean, yes, there is rain on the west side, but there's nothing over here. Alright, there's hardly any rain compared with on this side. And so that's what we call the dirty side. When we see a lot more rain and a lot more heavy rain and a lot more dirty weather on one side, that's known as the dirty side. And that's often what we get. Usually it's the east side of the tropical system is usually the dirty side. and that is what we are seeing with this storm. And most all storms, we always have a dirty side. You can kind of see here there isn't a whole lot of rain. This isn't completely wrapped all the way around. And so there might be some dry air. So that's my first assumption, is there could be some dry air kind of coming around. Hey, what does this always change on me? Scroll down, do this, bring the size down. So what I was saying is there could be some dry air trying to get in here according to this one model. And what often this, again, can lead to is a weakening of the storm. And as you can see, most of all the models are showing a weakening because of dry air. Alright, I'm going to go to the H1. Again, you know, we see where we are right now here. We go back to where we currently are. You know, this does show a much stronger period. It says 973. And some of the models are showing it could drop to as low as 960 millibars. So, lots of heavy rain. As the storm gets closer, according to this one model, it does wrap all the way around. So you have heavy rain, a majority of moderate or heavy rain all around the system. You still have these outer bands which are going to approach the Mexican coastline and bring heavy rain towards the coastline and could produce some dangerous wind. And before it even makes landfall, you can kind of see 960, 970. You can kind of see it makes landfall about 985, 986 millibars. But still, again, you are still seeing this. Man, this always changes something. This is going to kill me. I swear, it's going to be the death of me. My God. Scroll down this thing. Every time I use my scroller on my mouse, it also changes the size on that. It's so annoying. So we do have quite a lot of energy coming in here. So again, tornadoes will be possible east of the storm. Again, possibly some dry air coming in, which is going to be a big weakening factor of this storm. And that's my what I think is going to happen. There could be some dry air moving into the center of the storm and drawing it out. So lots of heavy rain. The possibility of tornadoes is also possible. This is what the GFS is showing. It's showing a much weaker storm upon landfall. It's showing probably a 60-mile-per-hour tropical storm upon landfall, as you can see. Maybe a Category 1, 996 millibars, but overall, a lot of heavy rain still near the center. We aren't seeing these heavy outer rain bands coming out here. Coming through here, but that doesn't mean there couldn't still be a isolated tornado or two. Certainly still possible with this system. So again, it does show it. It does show it way weaker than it actually. Well, not way weaker. Currently has an air pressure of 978. If anything, it shows it actually weakening a little bit before it gets stronger. So at 983, 984, and then 977, 975. So this shows it's only going to strengthen a little bit more to about 975 millibars, and then it's just going to be completely, obliterated by the mountain. My Lord, by the mountains there in Mexico. I haven't talked too much about the West Pacific, but trust me, I am going to get to that. My Lord. This is the CMC. It is horrible logo. It literally shows 1,004 millibars. Current air pressure is 978 millibars. That's the latest update from the National Hurricane Center. And it literally shows it making landfall with 1,005 millibars. And so, like, we're talking about maybe a 45, 50 mile per hour tropical storm. So not a very strong tropical system at all. Regardless, I do think there are going to be hurricane conditions throughout this entire area. Definitely tropical storm conditions. This is expected to be where the center is going to go. This is just generally the center line where it's going to go. But impacts happen not just only outside that line, but outside the entire cone. That's why we have tropical storm warnings and hurricane warnings that extend outside the cone, because that is where conditions are expected for that criteria. So there is a possibility where we could see hurricane conditions, where we could possibly see hurricane conditions outside the cone, and tropical storm conditions definitely outside the cone. And so the cone just says it can either shift east. It has a possibility of shifting to the east this much. The east. So like it could shift to it could go this direction and go this way, or it could go this direction, or it could go anywhere between. Okay, that's just prior to making landfall. It can, and that's what is expected. Now because a majority of the models have good agreement, the cone is much smaller. Some cones are much larger. A cone may be more like this. Okay, a cone may be like that, or a cone may be very, 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 very thin, because most of all the models agree. Alright, so cones are different sizes. Not all the cones are the same. It all depends on the model agreement and what the National Hurricane Center thinks. So I just kind of want to remind y'all what, really the forecast cone means. It doesn't mean it's just, that's where it could go. That's, and conditions are only favorable in that area. No, conditions are definitely tropical storm conditions. You could probably see rip currents. All along this part of the Mexican coastline, because you're gonna have, onshore flow from the storm, and even over here where winds could be going away from the storm. There's the conditions are not gonna be very good, and definitely where the storm's gonna be making landfall, the conditions will be very dangerous. So again, maximum sustained winds are at 85 miles per hour, 140 kilometers per hour. And air pressure is down to 978 millibars, moving to the north-northwest, 335 degrees, at about 5 miles per hour. So it is a slow mover because of high pressure. So this is the update on Hurricane Rick. Again, winds are about 85 miles per hour. Air pressure is 978 millibars. This shows you the temperature of the clouds. The colder the temperatures are, so if the temperatures are way down here, the negative 80s, negative 90s, that shows that the clouds are really high. There's a lot of convection. There's a lot of unstable air mass. The atmosphere is very unstable and conducive for tropical development, and that is what's happening. There's a lot of convection, as you can clearly see in that area. Lots of negative 90 degrees centigrade cloud tops. Negative 80 degrees centigrade cloud tops, negative 70 degrees centigrade cloud tops. So very, very, very high altitude clouds, which are going to produce very, very low, very, very cold temperatures at that altitude, and it's also going to produce a lot of heavy rain and a lot of convection. You can already see some of the rain bands. You can kind of see this onshore flow. Essentially, you can kind of see these rain bands like this one right here. It's approaching the Mexican coastline right now, moving in this direction. So it's going to produce a lot of heavy rain. You can kind of see some convection right there. So it's really going to produce a lot of heavy rain in that region. We're watching that system in the Mexican, I'm saying Mexico for so long, jeez. Off the northern African coast, northeast of Tunisia, north of Libya here. This is the entire country of Libya. You can kind of see it is kind of moving in this general direction. Area low pressure is right here. There is not a lot of convection, which kind of still tells me there's still a lot of wind shear. A majority of, it looks like the energy is to the southeast. And I do think, in fact, that storm is going to kind of move in this general direction. Has the possibility of developing. We'll have to see if it reaches tropical depression, tropical storm status. If so, I'll give you that update. But currently, not a whole lot is going on. This is the latest satellite imagery of the storm. I'm going to play that for y'all, so y'all have an idea of what it has done. And as you can clearly see, the clouds are literally just moving in this general direction. So I don't really see any actual rotation happening in the clouds. There may be some winds completely going to complete closed low, but I don't see any. I don't really see any winds. The clouds aren't really rotating. The clouds aren't spinning around in a 360 degrees, and so there's not a whole lot supporting of this being a tropical cyclone, which is very, very good. Maybe some just heavy rain, maybe gusty winds, 25 to 30 mile per hour sustained winds for areas of Greece. Maybe gusts reaching 35 miles per hour, but for right now, not a lot is showing it. This developing into anything significant. There's a huge amount of energy coming off the Libyan coastline. That might, I do think that could, I'm trying to think of the right words. I do think that could, contribute to the development of where the area low pressure is out here. Convection comes out here and it tries to maybe wrap around here and try to wrap around it and protect it from dry air. Then there's a possibility this could take off, but we'll have to see what this says. If this just continues to move in this direction and it is very disorganized, that it doesn't do anything, by the time it makes landfall, I do think that it will be a very, very weak system. Gusty winds are definitely possible. I don't think anything super duper insane is going to come out of it. The models have still been showing it, but right now I'm not seeing anything showing like, oh, this could be a hurricane. Oh, it's, you know, it's not going to be anything super significant, but obviously at any given point of time. I see we are not receiving enough data to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. I do apologize if y'all are experiencing buffering. That could be a problem. So I do want to play this so you can see what looks like a tropical disturbance. I mean, not a whole lot really showing of anything super duper crazy. I mean, it's trying to close that low off, but again, it just does not look very good at all whatsoever. I do want to go to the 850 millibar height and wind, so we have an idea of just, do we get a closed low? We have a closed low right now, coming off the coast of Africa. I mean, it may not be until it makes landfall in either Greece, Albania, or Italy. It may not be until then. So it might actually be quite a while before, or it may not even happen at all, which would be the best case scenario, that nothing happens, because something happening, I mean, this is the CMC is starting to show something. So CMC is saying possibly up to 45 knots. So we could see winds up to 50 miles per hour is possible. Does show it actually achieving probably, you know, closer to 60 miles per hour there. So again, there's a possibility still that, you know, the northern and the northeast part of the storm, in portions of southwest Greece could see winds as high as, you know, up to 50 to 60 mile per hour sustained winds. If this model is in fact true, we're gonna have to watch it carefully, because that most certainly is obviously a possibility. If one model shows it, the possibility is there. But generally, the CMC is not always the most accurate. It almost looks like another storm tries to develop. You can kind of see a closed low right here. But it just moves right back over. That didn't work too well. Moves right back over northern Libya. Yeah, there's high pressure right here. And there's high pressure right here, which kind of pinches it. So you get these isobars here, and there's the isobars here. This high pressure is trying to, because high pressure in the northern hemisphere is clockwise, so it's going to try to push it south, and and this is going to try to pull it north, and so it has this interference of two high pressures at different areas, one trying to push it south, one trying to push it north, and so that's why it kind of comes north, and then the other high pressure kind of takes it over and pulls it south, because again, yes, this one is closer, but it is weaker, 1,026. This one is farther, but it looks like 1,030 something millibar, so that is a relatively high region of very, very high air pressure. So something we do need to watch for when it comes to the understanding of tropical systems. Then you can kind of see it goes right back down. So that's certainly something we're going to watch for, and, you know, again, it is a possibility that it could develop. We'll have to watch, obviously watch it carefully, because, again, it is something we're going to have to watch for. Navgen doesn't show anything tropical coming out of that system. So this is what the icon is going to show. Let's see. Wow, icon shows a little bit more intense stuff happening. You can kind of see where it kind of comes off the coast, and then it can kind of kind of hooks the very tip of looks like it hooks the very tip of Italy there. You can kind of see that. So it kind of just hooks the tip of Italy there and gets absorbed, and it falls apart in the mountains of Italy. But I mean, it would have to be in the oranges for it to be classified as tropical storm. And we did not see really anything in the oranges. We saw most at the yellow. We did see oranges over here, but I don't think that was because of this tropical system. We are seeing the oranges about 35 knots, about we could possibly see showing of tropical storm force winds right here, but that was not in relation to this direct impact of the system. But again, they're not really showing this becoming anything significant, so we're gonna have to watch. This is storms in the Mediterranean are often can be very difficult and are certainly not easy to predict because you have all these different factors contributing. So again, it does look like there's still quite a bit of wind shear. A majority of the convection and energy is down here. There is quite a bit of energy up here. It looks like there's another area of low pressure right here. I don't know what that's going to do. Again, it looks like all the energy is to the east of this storm, but this should be the tropical system that turns this into a system to the storm. Does anyone have any comments, questions, and concerns? And my God, I have so much going on in the chat. So we kind of want to continue to sort of talk about the tropical systems. I want to take a look and see what the West Pac is showing. So we do have Hurricane Rick. How do we have a tropical depression? Wait. Where is this even at? The West Pac, right? I'm going to go to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. Alright, let's take a look and see what they're showing for this. So, first off, satellite imagery, you can clearly see, here's the area of low pressure right here. Here's Guam right here. You can kind of see lots of convection. You can already automatically see where winds would be moving in this general direction. I don't know why I drew exactly straight lines. I should have just done something like this. Alright, low convection. Here is Guam right here. Here are the Northern Mariana Islands up in this region. Can't even read what this says. Palu. Island Palu down there. Or the country of Palu, I should say. It's probably a country. Alright. UC3 storm. Yeah, there are. So there are multiple storms that we were watching here. There's this one in the West Pacific, as you can clearly see. Relatively, large and pretty big. I mean, get the area low pressure right here. It is not expected to impact land directly. However, there is a possibility that, in fact, it could impact, it's expected to do something like this, and then kind of curve out to sea and do something like this, and bring swells to Japan. That look like really weird swells. I don't know why. But, there would definitely be some swells towards Japan because that's where it could really peak. Category 3, Category 4, right here. And so that's something we're going to watch closely and carefully because, again, if this does become, a major hurricane, that's something we'll have to watch for because the swells could be pretty bad there in the West Pacific off the coast of Japan. Now, according to Tropical Tidbits, it is in fact, it did reach tropical depression status. In my opinion, I would certainly give it a tropical depression status because of how well it looks. So again, oh wait, what? Oh, NS99W. So at tropical depression 25, my lord, that is a lot of disturbances. So as you can see, this is the tropical depression latest information on it. Okay, so currently this is what we're looking at right here. With this system, I'm going to actually go to and take a look and see what they show. System here. So we do have this disturbance here in the West Pacific, Invest 99W, but 98W is now actually classified as a tropical depression according to Tropical Tidbits here. I'm going to turn this part off, storm tracks, and kind of just sort of talk. You can, in fact, you do see it coming all the way around. Winds are much stronger over Guam and Northern Marina Islands. As you can see, very, very, very heavy rain in that part. So you can clearly see 30, 35, 38, plus the tropical storm force winds. We're seeing winds of close to tropical storm force winds, or over 36, 37 mile per hour winds. So clearly these winds are pretty darn strong. So really, it's just a lot of heavy rain, a lot of gusty winds, close to full-on tropical storm force winds. As you can see, we're just shooting right up through here. Any comments, questions, or concerns, ladies and gentlemen? Hello, everyone. What is 68W? It is not 68W. It is 98W. And according to Tropical Tidbits, it has been classified as a tropical depression. Tropical depression, the 25th. Tropical depression in the West Pacific. God, I've been streaming for such a long time. Oh my lord. So that's what we're looking at right here. They went in there with found 979 millibars. It doesn't matter. We're not talking about Rick anymore. I don't know why I keep bringing it up. We're not talking about Rick anymore. So I need to get my water because I'm like talking pretty loud and it's actually starting to hurt my voice. Like after I start talking for we'll say an hour, 30 to 40 minutes about tropical disturbance, my voice will actually start to hurt because I'm a projector. I like to talk really loud. As y'all know, I'm not a soft speaker when it comes to talking about tropical systems. And I got that, so yeah. So that is what we are looking at right here. I'm going to look at the models for Tropical Depression 25 in the West Pacific and kind of give you an idea of what the hurricane watching thinks could possibly develop or what could possibly happen with this disturbance, this depression in the West Pac. And I mean, again, they're seeing tropical storm force winds. They're seeing not only just tropical storm force winds, but they're seeing lots of heavy rain. Heavy rain is a huge problem for some of these islands. You got a lot of heavy rain. You got a lot of rain coming down the mountains, and it can cause quite a bit of flooding and quite the problem. So let's first take a look and see what we're looking at here in the West Pacific, ladies and gentlemen. And then we're going to continue moving west. We're going to go to the West Pac. We're going to go to the Indian Ocean, India, southern India. We're going to just sort of talk about everything. So it's hot. I don't know why I'm so hot. I'm like burning up. Alright, so West Pacific, where are you at? Alright. So this is automatically what the GFS is showing. So, in case you don't have quite the idea of where this is at. My grandma's all calling me, I can't. So right here, 1007 millibar. So I think it's going to do something like this. And then sort of move out to sea and get absorbed in the jet stream and in the jet stream that are in the upper level winds. I think it's going to do something like that. I might be wrong. Let's see. So it appears that it does curve off actually much sooner than I anticipated it doing. I thought it was going to curve off a little bit later, but it does appear that it's going to curve off a little bit sooner than what I was thinking. But as you can kind of see, you know, it does intensify 980, 970, possibly even in the 960s. It depends on what they're showing, but definitely at this point they do get quite a large tropical storm force wind field, and they could see swells in parts of Japan. Definitely the Japan islands up here. There's also some Japan islands out here. And there's islands of Japan on both sides of Japan. So that's kind of what we're looking at. That's what we think is going to happen. It's going to curve off. It's not going to make a direct impact to Japan, but however, the indirect impacts could be some, you know, you could get some rain, and certainly the biggest impacts in Japan from this and from Tropical Depression 25 will definitely be the rep currents. The rep currents will be pretty darn strong, definitely along the coast of Japan. Looking at that other system, it does in fact develop into something that we will have to watch, because apparently this could make landfall as a 45, 50, maybe even 55 or 60 mile per hour tropical storm there in, I always want to call it Thailand, in Vietnam there, and Laos region, Cambodia. So possibly producing, you know, tropical storm force winds and some definitely heavy rain and gusty winds. So we're going to have to watch out and see what happens with that system. So we're gonna have to watch that again. Heavy, though y'all will see heavy rains in this area south. I can't get my countries right, darn it. I don't know. I want to say that's Cambodia, but that might be Laos or another country. But again, definitely heavy rain and gusty winds in that region. Okay, let's continue to move west. Let's take a look at the Indian Ocean and see what we're looking at here, or the South Indian Ocean, and I'll look at any other things that we need to talk about. Do you see this cluster of thunderstorms right here? This could be our first tropical system here in the southern Indian Ocean. Right here. Why is that so light? Okay, let me delete that or try to skip. So this could be our first tropical system here in the southern Indian Ocean. There are a few islands here, I think. Very, very little islands in this region. A lot more of the islands are... There's some land here. Definitely Mauritius and Reunion over here. But right out here in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, there's just truthfully not a lot going. I mean, in the Indian Ocean. I say Pacific Ocean. Oh my god. What was what? You have to kind of clarify what you're talking about. So that could be a system we'll have to watch for. And also looking at that system and multiple systems developing there in the Indian Ocean right there. Right here. Boom. I don't know why that circle was so massive. Right here. We certainly have to watch out for some definite tropical systems. And that could go right across southern portions of India. And then another system possibly developing there. Just sort of sitting there off the coast of India. Because of these ridges of high pressure up here. 1043 and 1032 kind of keeping it south. And it wants to go north, but it's forced to get to go this way, and it wants to go north, and so it's just kind of sitting there. The storm is just sitting there, and gaining energy. And then there's a potential of another, this looks like an upper level low. Not very closed. Very, very weak. Looks like an upper level low, actually. But yeah, if you're going to ask me a question, I got to know, what do you mean? What was it? What did you not understand? And then, of course, we're going to look at Southwest Pacific also. Nothing tropical developing there. We're going to look at the other portion of the other side of Australia because cyclones form in all over the place too. Oh, here we go. Quite literally, I mean, we are seeing more. That's energy, but it's not tropical energy. It's not over. It's not over the water. Really, not a whole lot to talk about. I mean, yeah, we have Hurricane Rick here, which is approaching the Mexican coastline. That's going to be the biggest thing that we are worried about. And I hear Tropical Depression 25 here with maximum sustained winds. Again, we are seeing those winds at around 35 miles per hour. Does anyone have any comments, questions, or concerns? Alright, well, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like the video. And as always, stay safe out there, everyone. And that is going to be it for today, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And I'll talk. Hopefully, I will try my very best to do a video update on tropical or on hurricane. Can never think of the name of the storm half the damn time. On Hurricane Rick, obviously. And with all that being said, that's it. Peace out.